Hi, I'm Dana. I have made quite a few videos about how my family are really not great and I had to cut them off and go no contact. And then I was very, very lonely and very sad and very upset for quite a long time. And now I'm at a point in life where I very much have my found family and my cat has found a toy. But I found my little family unit that I really love to have and that I really feel like safe and comfortable around, and that, you know, like we treat each other like family. We are a family that we have had to find and create together. And I love that, and I'm really, really glad to have that and to have those people, and it fills me with so much joy, and it's a sense of community, and I feel safe, and I feel like I have people to like fall back on and that will support me and that I support. You know, it's just a very, very nice, good thing. However, I think that even the nicest and goodest things have a lot of nuance and a lot going on. So I wanted to make a video on the downsides of found family, because it's one of those things where, as much as I do think that it's a very necessary thing for me, you know, like I don't have access to my actual blood related family. Like I don't have another option for a family outside of a found one. So I absolutely do adore having one. But at the end of the day, when you really get down to it, I would much rather not need to have a found family and just have an actual blood-related family that I'm able to get on with and feel supported by in the way that I do by my found family, you know? Like, if I got what I got from my found family, from my actual family, I wouldn't need a found family. And I think there's also a degree of sort of like, well, you have a family, you know? It might be a found family, might not be the general family that everybody else has, but you have a family that loves and supports you, so like pipe down and stop complaining. And like to a point, yes, but also I feel like we should be free to experience the mixed feelings and the nuances of life, you know? So I'm gonna go through the downsides, but I don't see any of them as like actual negatives, because I don't have access to a family outside of this one. This is great, you know? Like, as much as I'm like, it's better than nothing, it's what I was searching for when I didn't have this, you know? So like, as much as this is like a negative video and the downsides of something, the overall is very much an upside and something that I really love having and something that I do really appreciate and feel very lucky and privileged to have. So first off, some of the people that are within my found family still have their actual family. And it does feel like I have a somewhat different bond with them than I do the other members that don't connect with their family and have gone no contact. Because for those people, it is, we are each other's family, we are what each other has. Whereas with the friends who have their family, like their blood related family still, it's the thing of like, they don't need us in the way that we need each other, you know, and they choose us. It's fine. As much as I'm saying it's a downside, I don't think it's a negative thing. You know, I actively want the people that I love to have as many people loving and supporting them as possible. If they still have their mum and dad and brothers and sisters and whatever else, I think that's great. I think that's really lovely for them, and I'm really glad for them, and I want people to be able to have those relationships and have them benefit them and be nice relationships. But also, it does affect the type of relationship that I will have with them on like a familial best friend type of level, because they have family and I don't. They are my family, and as much as like I do believe they see me as family and they, you know, this is just a different part of their family unit that they have, we're just like the extended family or whatever, you know, I don't think they don't see me as family, but there's just not the same need there. There's not the same deeper, like, it is just, I don't want to necessarily say it's a deeper connection, because I don't have like favourites. Like, I have my 3 people I consider to be family, and like I adore them all in equal measure in different ways, you know? But I do feel like it's somewhat of a deeper connection on like a familial level when it is a case of like, you are the family that I have, you know? We might have other little like different people outside of this that are also part of our found families, but we are the family that we have. Versus being like the extended family where someone goes home for Christmas to see their mum and dad. And again, good. I want people to spend Christmas with their families if they're gonna have a good time. But it does like reduce the amount of people around me to the point where I'm spending Christmas with my best friend who like, it's my family and it's gonna be lovely and it's gonna be really great and I'm really happy I get that. But if the other people didn't have families to go home to, there would be more of us, you know? And it would be more the merrier, you know, generally. And it's the kind, it's one of the, I can tell that I'm over explaining this, and it's purely because as much as it is like a downside, it's not something I ever want anyone to feel bad about. It's not anything I want to cause like any sort of guilt around. It's not something I see as like necessarily a negative thing. It's just a bit of a downside for me. It's very much an upside for them, and I'm glad for that. But a bit of an extension to the point is something like, I get worried about the future, I get very anxious, I overthink things. That's who I am as a person. So I quite often have like the moments where I'm like, oh my god, chances are at some point we're gonna like split up, like not split up, but you know, like various members of my found family are going to find partners most likely. They're going to build lives with those partners and build their own families with their partners. And as much as I trust that like I will be a part of that and they will continue to be a part of my family, it will bring a different dynamic to it. You know, they won't have as much time for me, rightfully so, because they will have a family. But I've also like more recently had the experience of friends getting into relationships and not having any time for me, not seeming to care about me as a person anymore, not listening to the things I say anymore, you know, just completely losing a friend because they've gotten into a relationship. And that was sort of whatever. But if it was the people I consider to be my family that I'm very, very close to, that would be horrible. And I do more so trust that they wouldn't do it to the same degree. But the fact of the matter is, if they have a partner, if they have a family and everything, that will take up more time and it will take a priority. And as much as it will be okay and understandable and acceptable and like all cool, it will still kind of suck to be me, you know? Like the longer I've been single, the more I'm like, I don't know if I want a relationship again. Like the relationships that I've had that have been romantic have been horrible. Like even the one that I'm like, oh, the second one wasn't as bad, it still wasn't nice, it still wasn't good, it still didn't like inspire me to want to find someone again, you know? And I definitely don't want kids, so that's not going to be like a part of my family unit at any point. And it is the thing of like, I'm probably going to lose people, you know? And especially because there's like other people in my life that I'm not as close to yet, but I think I eventually will be. And it's like, I'm going to lose them eventually, probably. And like, it's not the loss in the way that they like fully won't be there, but I won't be as much of a priority anymore. And it's very selfish and it's very like me focused. But that's kind of the point of this video. That's kind of the point of my whole channel. And it's one of the things where it's like, we don't get to talk about the things that are a little bit selfish. And a lot of us have parts of us that are selfish. That's sort of how humans work. And it's the thing of like being able to accept this is a selfish thing. This is a selfish fear that I have. I want my friends and my family members to be happy. If that means having a partner, having a family, build, like, you know, any of that, I'm gonna fucking support them and be really happy for them. But there will be that little bit at the back of it all that's like, oh, I'm less of a priority now. When I need support, they're probably not gonna be the first person I go to because they have other things on. And I haven't even gotten there yet. This is like in the future for me, but it's something I am already aware of and worried about. I don't know how I pronounce those words. Okay, the next downside is one that I really like do find genuinely negative, and that's that when I'm in conversation, when I'm socialising and topics of family come up, I either don't say anything, tell the like funny little stories of my actual blood related family and then have to do the like, oh, I don't talk to them anymore. And quite often it's also the story that I will find really funny and be like, this is a funny tale, and everyone else will be like, are you okay, Dana? Like, that's kind of horrible. So I try to steer away from that. But then there's the other times when I'll be like, oh yeah, my best friend, and I'll like be telling the story, and they don't understand that they're not just my best friend. This is my family member. This is the equivalent of me telling you about my brother or sister, you know? And obviously they don't understand, the context isn't there, but I don't want to have like to do the over explain all of like, oh, I'm no contact with my family because I don't get on with them because they're actually really neglectful and abusive and quite horrible in a lot of ways. So my found family aren't the people that are my best friends, so they actually mean much more to me than like an average person's best friend might, even though they're also very important and valid relationships, you know? Like, I don't want to have to constantly over explain myself in day-to-day life when I'm meeting new people, but I also want that context to be there. And I think that's also part of why I make so many videos about found family. I do want it to be a more normalised thing, and I also think that like with more of us having to cut off our parents and not having our parents there for us for whatever reason, it is becoming more common and then will be more normalised, but at the minute it isn't. So I feel like I often have to really over-explain or just accept that the context isn't there and people won't fully grasp what I'm saying. And there's just a lot of, like, I feel like there's something lacking in language there. Like, I need something that's between best friend and family that gives off what I mean when I say my best friend, you know? Like, it's a weird one. It's a very personal thing, and it's not something I bring up to people because I don't think it's necessarily important, but it is something that I feel as a downside of the situation, you know? My next one is going to be even more difficult for me to explain, I think, but it's the uncanny valley / like creator of reminders / longing / like pining of some sort. So what I mean by this is that sometimes I'll hang out with my friends, with my found family, and we'll have a lovely time. It'll be really, really nice. And I will sit there and be like, oh my God, this is how it's supposed to be. You know, I'm sat in a space that I feel safe in, having comfortable conversation. I don't feel stressed, I don't feel anxious, I don't feel on edge, I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells and having to like judge everyone else's facial expressions and behaviour to make sure they're not about to turn on me. Like, it feels how my family is supposed to feel. And it's this sort of uncanny valley thing of like, you look like my family and you act like my family and you are my family, but you're not my family. And it makes me really, really want to see my actual family, like my mother and my brothers. And like quite often after I've spent time around my friends, I get really, really sad and I really, really want to just like call my mum and ask how she is and ask what's going on and talk to her. And I don't do it because I know it wouldn't be a nice situation. It wouldn't be the situation I have with my found family, you know? It wouldn't be nice. It wasn't nice in the first place. That's why I'm not there. But being reminded of what family like can and should be makes me want that from my actual blood related family, you know? And that's not something that I experience on the regular since like that was the first 6 months after cutting them off for me, where I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should talk to them again. Maybe I should fix this. You know, I haven't really felt that like it feels like a heaviness on your chest where it's like hard to breathe and you're like, oh, I fucked up. I just want my family. And it's like, but the family that I want never existed. Like literally never existed. I never had those nice, comfortable, happy moments with my actual blood related family. My found family are the people that provide me with the feeling of what a family is. But societal like surroundings and every message that we're given from childhood and everything is like, no, but that should be my blood family. My blood family should have loved me and supported me and listened to me and understood me in the way that these people do. And it creates a sort of bitterment. It creates like a sort of bitterness and resentment, and I get angry. Like I start being upset and then I get angry about it, and I start with the like, why can't my family be like that? And I get to the, why can't my family be like that? Why can't you just be nice to me? Like, why can't you just treat me like I'm an actual person? But they couldn't, and that's why we don't talk to them, and that's why we have a found family that are nice to us and do treat us right. But you know, it's also so close to what I should have had from birth, you know? Like I have brothers. I grew up with a mum and dad. Like I should have lots of like nice childhood memories of being sat around with my family watching TV and chatting and just doing silly things like I do with the people I know now. But I don't have any of those memories. We didn't do that as a family. And it's this like, I previously had a longing for something that I'd never had, you know? I wanted a family, I wanted to feel this, I wanted to feel that. And now that I have it, it's just so often slightly clouded by the fact of like, why couldn't I have this from the people that are supposed to provide me with it? Why couldn't I have this from the people that are supposed to give it to me? You know, it's great to get it now. I love getting it. I love having it from these people. I love the people that I'm with. They very much are my family now. But they're not ever going to be my blood family. I'm never going to be able to go back to my childhood and make my blood family behave in the way that a blood family should. You know, like, the things that I can't change bother me. And it's only when I'm, like, actively thinking about it like I am now, or, like, in very brief moments after hangouts. This isn't, like, a constant thing for me. On the whole, I am just very satisfied and happy and, like, having a good time with my found family, you know? It's very, like, small, limited moments, but I feel like a lot of people would have those moments more. I feel like I did have those moments more, like, earlier on in, like, my healing process or whatever. So I do feel like it's important to talk about. You know, I think that we're so often just given the message that we should be happy and appreciate what we have and be grateful for what we have. And as much as I am incredibly grateful for the found family that I have, it's not my blood family, you know? And as much as I'm aware that every family has issues and lots of people don't have blood families, it feels like most people do, you know? And it feels like I should have had that, I should have gotten that. And there's also like the anger of, like I mentioned, one of the other people in my like found family friendship group also doesn't have their blood family in their lives. And that also makes me angry and also gets me annoyed because I'm like, look at them. Like, spend 2 fucking minutes around them. I love spending time around them. You're telling me the people that were actually physically, like, blood related to them, spent time around them, went, no, we're going to be an arsehole to them. We're going to make their lives, like, such a fucking hell that they have to cut us off. Like, what the shit? Like, there are also lots of, like, specific things that are very personal to my little group that I'm not going to go into because it's personal to my little group and not just to me. But to round off this video, as much as there are downsides, there's downsides to just about anything in life. It's, you know, it's the balance of things. On balance in my day-to-day life, my found family are the best family that I've ever had, and I really love and adore them. And as much as you can argue and look at the downsides and be like, oh well, I should have had a decent family from the get-go, at least I've got one now. I'll take it now rather than never, you know. And as much as, like I say, there are downsides, there's things that I would prefer to be a different way, the way that it is fine. I am happy with the way that it is. You know, the grass is always greener. There's always ways that you could be happier. There's always things that could make it better. But I feel good about it. You know, there's a few there's a few people that I've become friends with that I can imagine eventually like becoming part of the family. But the little unit that I've got right now is very fulfilling and very supportive, and I really, really love them. So I've, you know, as much as this is a video of me complaining, I don't actually have any complaints about them. So I post videos here on Thursdays and Sundays, usually focused around autism, but also venturing into, you know, found family stuff and trauma stuff and abusive relationships and just lots of incredibly fun topics. So if you want to see more from me, please do subscribe. I post almost daily over on TikTok if you wanted to follow me there, and I occasionally post over on Instagram and Twitter, but that'll all be linked down below, alongside your ability to become a YouTube member or a Patreon member if you would like to pay me some money each month to make these videos. I need to get into contact juggling. Imagine if I could do like some sort of little like Bowie trick while I'm being awkward during this segment. That'd be fucking fab. But yeah, you can pay me if you want to. You don't have to, don't worry. And you can also donate to me over on Ko-fi. That's the final little thing. And again, that will all be linked down in the little like drop bar thing. And very, very finally, before I go, if you're a real one and you've stuck around this long, I really want to do a Q&A video. I did one ages ago because I asked on Instagram, but then I made friends in real life and started like following people on Instagram that I know in real life who are my real life friends. And like, they're not my close found family friends. They're like people I go for a drink with sometimes, or like go to a party at their house, you know, they're sort of more extended friends. So I don't want them to see me putting up a story being like, hi fans, please ask me some questions. So if you're a real one and you've made it this deep into the video, please leave some questions down below that I could put in a Q&A. It can be literally anything. It can be something really specific. It can be about like general stuff in the world. It can be literally anything, and if it's not something I want to answer, I won't. But that is the end of this video. So whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely... But that is the end of this video. So whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.